भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. I welcome all the devotees for today's Gita Pravaha session. Yesterday we began the seventh chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and so far we have discussed the first 14 shlokas. And in these 14 shlokas, we have seen several important elements as Krishna has highlighted. In the first three shlokas, we have seen how Krishna described the glory of the knowledge that he is going to reveal. He said, you do Sravanam, and that Sravanam will give you knowledge about Krishna's opulences, Krishna's powers, Krishna's material and spiritual energies, and also Krishna's personality and his sweetness. So Krishna said, I will reveal to you Jnana and Vijnana. And that revelation of Jnana and Vijnana is possible by first hearing from a bona fide source. Jnana is knowledge about Krishna's material and spiritual energies. Vijnana is knowledge about Krishna's sweetness and his personality, his qualities. But those who have that realized knowledge, Vijnana, are very rare. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye. People who endeavor for perfection are very rare. Amongst those people who actually have understanding for Krishna are extremely rare. So with this prelude, Krishna begins giving knowledge about his energies. So when Krishna has material energy called Apara Prakriti or Maya Shakti, that constitutes five gross elements and three subtle elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and ego. And Krishna's spiritual energy or Para Prakriti is the Jiva Shakti, is the living entities, that's spiritual in nature. And whatever you see in this world is a combination of this Paraprakriti and Aparaprakriti, or this Jiva Shakti and Maya Shakti. And Krishna is the maintainer of everything. He's like that invisible string that holds all the pearls in a necklace together. Everything rests on Krishna. How? Krishna gives so many examples. I'm the taste of water, and I'm the light of sun and moon, I'm the heat of fire, I'm the sound in ether, I'm the ability in men. He speaks so many things. But although he manifests so many things in this world, and he manifests the qualities of those objects in this world, he is beyond this world. This world is completely made of three material modes: Sattvagun, Rajogun, and Tamogun. Right? So, but the Lord is beyond the influence of Sattvarjas Tamogunas. How can we go beyond the influence of Sattvarjas Tamogunas? By taking his shelter. Daivi hiesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mame vaye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. So, how to overcome this maya that constitutes these three gunas? By taking shelter of Krishna. But there are some people who don't take shelter of Krishna. There are some people who take shelter of Krishna. In each category, we have four types, four subcategories. Let's look at them now. So today Krishna says, in the 15th shloka, there are four types of dushkritinas, bad people, who don't take shelter of Krishna. Hope you're able to see my screen. Namam dushkritino mudhaha prapadyante naradhamaha mayayapahrita jnana asuram bhavamashritaha. Krishna says, Namam dushkritino mudha. There are four types of dushkritinas, means bad people, miscreants. Number one, mudha. Number two, naradhama. Number three, mayaya apaharta jnana. Number four, ashram bhavamashritaha. Who are they? Let's see one by one now. So first, we all know this popular story, right? This barber, once somebody went for shaving to a barber, and the barber says there is no God. Then this man asks, why do you say that there is no God? The barber says that because there are so many people suffering in this world, therefore there is no God. And this man had his hair cut. He went out. After some time, he came back and he said, uh, "There is no barber in this world." And this barber was surprised. "Arey, I just shaved you some time back." Then this man said, "There are so many people in the street who have long beards and long hairs, and that means there is no barber in this world." Then the barber said, "I exist here, but they don't come to me. How can you conclude that I am not existent?" Then this man said, "Yes. Similarly, God is there, but people don't come to him. People don't come to take his shelter, therefore they are suffering, right? So, how can you blame God just because there is some suffering in this world?" Then the barber got his lesson. Anyways, many people believe that there is no God. Some people believe that they are gods. That's another problem. So, Krishna talks about four types of people who don't surrender to God, surrender to Krishna. Who are they? Number one, Mudha. They're animalistic fools. Hmm. Means they work so hard for material pleasures. Like a donkey, it works so hard just for some food, some grass. And the washerman gives him some grass. But that grass the donkey can get anywhere. But the donkey works so hard carrying so many clothes just for that little grass. So there are some people, mudhas, they also work so hard for material pleasures, but that pleasures are anyways available for anyone. The second category is Naradhama, lowest of mankind. You know who are they? They practice bhakti for some time, and after a while they give up the practice of bhakti. So, despite having a taste of bhakti, they can't continue that practice, they just give up. That is Naradhama. Third category is Mayaya Apahrita Gnana. Gnana means knowledge. Maya is the illusory energy of the Lord. Mayaya Apahrita. Apahrita means stealing. So, these people are those people whose knowledge has been stolen by Maya. They are like speculators. Means they keep on imagining things. They study scriptures, but they come to a impersonalistic conclusion. They study scriptures, but they think that God is an ordinary human being. He's not divine. He's not so great in any way. So that's their understanding. So they are called Mayaya Aparata Gnana, deluded speculators. Then fourth is Asuram Bhavamashritaha. Asura is a demon. Bhava means their mood, their attitude. Ashrita means they have taken shelter of. So the fourth category of people are demonic atheistic people. They no, this belongs to the third category. So there is mistake in this slide. So Asuram Bhava Mishrita means they are very atheistic. They confront God. So these are four categories of people who don't take shelter of Krishna. But there are four categories of people who take shelter of Krishna. Who are they? Krishna reveals information about them in the next shloka. Very beautiful. And by the way, let me tell you right in the beginning only, these four people, although they take shelter of Krishna, they are not pure devotees. There is a category beyond these four categories also. But anyways, let's go through these four categories. Krishna says, Chaturvidha bhajante mam janaha sukritin Arto jignasuratharthi gnani cha bharatarshabha. Chaturvidha, four types of people. What do? Bhajante mam, they worship me. They take my shelter. Janaha Sukritino Arjuna. Oh Arjuna, they are called Sukritinas. If you remember, in the previous shloka, Krishna spoke about Dushkritina, means bad people, miscreants. Here he is talking about Sukritina, means good people. Those who have good knowledge and good pious background. So who are they? Number one, Arto, distressed people. Number two, Jignasur, curious or inquisitive. Number three, Artharthi. Artha means wealth. Arthi means one who seeks. They are wealth seekers. And last, Gnani, wise people. So these are the four categories of people. What do? Bhajante mam. They worship Krishna. And they are Sukritinaha. And by the way, the word Sukritina is understood as piety, which is correct, no doubt. But this piety is of two types. There are two types of piety. One is called material piety, second is spiritual piety. What is material piety? You perform some pious activities like upavas, means fasting, like giving charity, doing austerities, and some kind of vratas, vows, etc. And the intention behind doing all these pious activities, punya karyas, is to go to heavenly planets, desiring a higher grade of material enjoyment. That is material piety that gives higher grade of material enjoyment. But there is spiritual piety. Spiritual piety means doing some bhakti, some shravanam, some kirtanam, some archanam, some worship of the Lord, some hearing about the Lord. This is spiritual piety. So spiritual piety takes us beyond the material world. And material piety gives us an opportunity to enjoy in a better way in this material world. So the Sukritina word in this shloka refers to those who perform some spiritual piety, not material piety. Means consciously and unconsciously, they need some bhakti, they need some service to the Lord. Okay. Now, four types. So Artha distressed, Jignasu inquisitive, Artharthi wealth seekers, Gnani wise. Let's look at them, look at each of them in detail. First, Artha. They are relief seekers. They are undergoing some problems. They want peace. They want feel good experience. They don't have so much of philosophical understanding, but they just want relief from their anxieties and miseries. So some people go to the temple, they just want some peace, right? They may not know, they may not understand so much philosophy, they may not read scriptures, they may not even have an intention to serve the Lord, but they want some peace. Relief seekers, Artha, because they're in distress, they want relief. So Gajendra is an example of Artha Bhakta initially. Later, Gajendra became a pure devotee and got Sarupya Mukti also. But initially, Gajendra surrendered to the Lord with an intention to seek relief from this crocodile. Because Gajendra was in distress, Gajendra took shelter of the Lord. Second category, one more thing. We should appreciate these people, right? Although they are taking shelter of the Lord only to relieve themselves from miseries, still they're good people. Because, for example, somebody is in Tamogun. If he is in distress, he takes to smoking, drinking. Have you seen people who who claim that because I'm in so much distress and anxiety and difficulties, I'm drinking alcohol, I'm smoking, I'm taking drugs. Therefore, this habits will help me forget my distress. So Tamogani people take shelter of these intoxicants to relieve themselves from distress, but they buy more distress also. Then Rajogani people, how do they address distress? They vigorously, ambitiously, aggressively seek money, sense enjoyment, etc. That's what Rajogani people do. And Sattogani people, when they are in distress, from the distress they analyze the distressful situation, and from analysis they develop knowledge, they develop detachment, right? Tamogani people take to intoxicants to forget their distress. Rajogani people aggressively try to address the cause of their distress. Satvagani people analyze the cause of distress, develop knowledge and detachment. But those who are beyond the three modes, these people take shelter of Krishna when they are distressed. So when you take shelter of Krishna in distress, na, that's an opportunity for us to transcend the modes. Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mamaya Dhratya Mameve Prapadyante. So you can address distress in any of these modes, Tamagun, Rajagun, Sattvagun. But different ways of addressing are there. But the main way of the best way of addressing a distressful situation is to take shelter of Krishna. Whether it is distress or joy, take shelter of Krishna. There are so many nice devotees, wonderful devotees like Kunti Mata. She said, Krishna, distress gives me an opportunity to connect with you. Whenever there is distress, you come and give me darshan. Therefore, I like distress. Right? A devotee remembers Krishna uh, in all circumstances, but especially when there is calamity, that calamity is seen as an opportunity to remember Krishna and to intensify one's dependence on Krishna. That's the mode of a devotee, Artha Bhakta. Then what about Jignasu? So there are other categories of people. Second category is Jignasu, means they're very curious, they're very inquisitive. Like the sages of Naimisharanya, they were hearing Bhagavatam from Sutta Goswami. They're very curious, but they're curious on a material plane also. They're materially curious and they also become curious about spirituality. Tathato Brahma Jignasa means they're curious. How does this phone function? How does this pen function? They are curious. Similarly, they are curious why Krishna wears peacock feather, why Krishna is blue in color, why Krishna did this pastime in this way. There's some curiosity to understand spiritual subject matters. So through that curiosity, they can come closer to the Lord. So it's good to be curious about spiritual subject matters, right? So that could be a first step. And third category is artharthi, wealth seekers. They want wealth, power, position, influence. Like Dhruva Maharaj wanted a position superior to his great grandfather Brahma. And that's the reason for Dhruva Maharaj's worship of Lord Vishnu, chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. But the Lord blessed him. Dhruva Maharaj was blessed uh, with pure devotional service. He gave him position superior to Brahma, but he also got pure bhakti. So these Sukritinas, they may connect with the Lord in different ways, with different motives. But ultimately, when they come to the Lord, they will become pure devotees sooner or later. That's why in the Bhagavatam it is said, Akamaha sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhihi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. So akamaha sarva kamo va. Whether you have material desires or you don't have material desires or you specifically desire liberation, whatever may be the category you belong to, you please take shelter of Krishna. Right? So anybody from any background is eligible to practice bhakti. Next sloka, next category, that is jnani, wise people. So they are not inquisitive people. Uh, Inquisitive is the jignasu category, but jnani means they already have knowledge, but they don't have very mature spiritual knowledge, but they have some knowledge about the Lord. So they are more serious than a jignasu. So such people are the best of these four categories. So Krishna says in the next shloka, तेषां ज्ञानी नित्ययुक्ता एकभक्तिर्विशिष्यते प्रियो हि ज्ञानिनोत्यर्थम् अहं स च मम प्रियः तेषां ज्ञानी नित्ययुक्ता. Of all these four categories of people, jnanis take to bhakti faster. Ekabhaktirvisishyate. They become pure devotees very soon. Priyo hi jnaninotyartham. Therefore, Krishna considers these jnanis uh, dear to him, and the jnanis also consider Krishna dear to them. But all four are good. Udaraha sarvayevaite. All four categories of Sukritinas are very good because they come to Krishna, right? But Jnani is the best of all because they have some good knowledge. And these Jnanis eventually attain the Supreme Lord. That's what Krishna says in the next shloka. Bahunam janmana mante jnanavan mam prapadyate Vasudevah sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. After so many janmas, so many births, such a gnani who has mature knowledge about the Lord, he comes to understand that Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Vasudeva is everything. Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha, such a person is called Mahatma, a great soul. Sudurlabha is very rare. So to understand Vasudeva is Sarvam is extremely rare. So let's understand. If we have some little understanding that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, if we have some faith that Krishna is all pervading, in the previous section of this chapter, we have seen Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shishishuryayoho means Krishna is the taste of water, Krishna is the heat of fire, Krishna is the light of sun and moon, Krishna is everywhere. Without Krishna, nothing exists in this universe. All this we have discussed in the seventh chapter, first half, right? So to have such a mature, bona fide, authorized understanding about the personality of Krishna and powers of Krishna is very rare, right? And once you understand who Krishna is, what Krishna does, then you'll naturally be inspired to surrender to Krishna, seek shelter of Krishna, love Him, serve Him, connect with Him, reach Him. So, this inclination to serve Krishna is extremely rare. Samahatma sudurlabha. Even a gnani who has some understanding, philosophical understanding, he takes hundreds and thousands of lifetimes to come to the stage of fully taking shelter of Vasudeva, to understand Vasudeva Sarvamiti. But right in the pages of this Bhagavad Gita, we are able to understand Krishna is everywhere. And because of the mercy of devotees, acharyas, like our Vaishnava Parampara, so many acharyas are there because of their mercy, because of Srila Prabhupada's mercy, because of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, because of the mercy of so many wonderful Vaishnavas, Even a child has an understanding that Krishna is everything nowadays, right? In many of our devotee circles. So that understanding is extremely rare. Not many people on the planet have this understanding that Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Some Mahatma Sudurlabha, such a Mahatma is very, very rare to find. Krishna says. Yeah. Now, if you notice, Jnanavan mam prapadyate. In the previous shlokas, what did Krishna say? Chitrvida bhajante mam, right? Four categories of people do bhajan, right? So that is bhajante and it is prapadyante. Now, what is the difference between bhajante and prapadyante? Bhajante is just worshipping, but prapadyante is taking shelter, seeking shelter, actively seeking shelter. One who does bhajan, they may not have pure love for Krishna, but one who does prapadyanti, one who takes shelter, they have deep bonding and deep love and dedication to Krishna. So we need to come to the stage of bhajante to prapadyanti. Of course, bhajante also can be done in a pure devotional spirit, but in this context, Chaturvidha bhajante mam, the word bhajante mam is used to indicate that these people worship Krishna or approach Krishna. But prapadyanti is higher understanding. Now, Vasudeva Sarvamiti. What is that Sarvamiti? Means Vasudeva is everything. If everything is Vasudeva, is everything Vasudeva? So Vasudeva is everything, but everything is not Vasudeva, right? Vasudeva Sarvamiti means Vasudeva is everything, but everything is not Vasudeva. For example, like Narasimhadev came out of pillar. The pillar is also the Lord in one sense. But is the pillar Narasimhadev? No. Whom did Prahlad Maharaj garland? Narasimhadev or the pillar? So we need to understand that although without the Lord nothing in this world can manifest, similarly, although without the Lord nothing can manifest, thus we understand that everything is happening because of the Lord, but we cannot think that everything is the Lord, right? So this bottle cannot exist without the Lord, but this bottle is not the Lord. So Krishna is there in this also, but you cannot keep it in the altar and then start worshipping this bottle, right? So we need to have that so refined discretion or discrimination. Fine. So far we have seen worshipping Vasudeva, taking shelter of Vasudeva, and bhajante, prapadyante of Lord Vasudeva we have seen. What about some people who worship the devatas? There are so many people who worship different devatas. So many devatas are in this world. What about them? Krishna comments on them. कामैस्तैस्तैर्हृतज्ञानाः प्रपद्यन्तेऽन्य देवताः तं तं नियममास्थाय प्रकृत्या नियता स्वया कामैस्तैस्तिर्हृतज्ञान because of kama, because of their desires, material desires, hritajnanaha, their knowledge is covered. And they do what? Prapadyante anya devataha. They worship other devatas, not Krishna. Some people do prapadyanti of Krishna, but these people they take shelter of other devatas and they follow different rules and regulations and start pleasing them and get some boons. Like Brahma is there. He's an empowered representative of the Lord. He's a Shaktiavesh avatar of Lord Krishna. But Hiranyakashipu approached Brahma for what? For powers, mystic powers, by which he can rule the universe, by which he can kill Vishnu. So worshippers of devatas are motivated by small desires and they don't know how to reach the supreme goal. And they are worshipping the devatas to fulfill their petty desires. And Krishna only strengthens their shraddha. Yo yo yam tanum bhakta shraddha yarchitumicchati tasya tasyachalam shraddham tame vavedhamyaham. So when somebody desires to worship a devata, Krishna allows them to do so. Because in the Bhagavad Gita, we clearly see that Krishna doesn't force us. Even Arjuna also, he's not forcing Arjuna to fight. He spoke philosophy. And at the end he said, Arjuna, this is what I said. You analyze. And yathechashi tatha kuru, you do whatever you want. Decision is ours only. See, the Lord has given us some minute independence, some swecha, some free will. And we need to channelize that free will properly by understanding what is dharma, what is adharma, what is right, what is wrong. But if we don't have that discretion, If you don't use that minute independence in a proper way, if you misuse that independence, then what will Krishna do? If Krishna manipulates our independence also, if Krishna interferes with our little free will and swechha, freedom also, then we are machines, we are not living beings. Krishna is supremely independent. Because we are his parts, we are minutely independent. And we have full freedom to use that little bit of freedom that we have the way we want. So, by using or misusing that independence, some people may desire something material. And to fulfill that material desire, they may approach different devatas. For example, Vrakasura is there. He approached Lord Shiva and said, I want a power. What power you want? If I put my hand on someone's head, he should die immediately. That's the power I want. And Shiva had to offer that moon. And Hiranyakashipu wanted some powers. Ravana wanted some powers. They go to Brahma or Shiva, and some people worship Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu. Like different people go to different devatas to fulfill their material desires. Of course, there are some people who approach the devatas for increasing their devotion to Vasudeva also. For example, Narada Muni, he went to Brahma once and said, can you please tell me about the Lord? Please tell me about Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna. Then Brahma gave a full Bhagavatam class. He taught the entire Bhagavatam scripture to Narada Muni. So Narada Muni approached Brahma to increase his bhakti unto Lord Vishnu, and Brahma was very happy with Narada Muni. They both were together discussing about Lord Vasudeva, about Lord Krishna, very beautifully. But Hiranyakashipu approached Brahma for material goods. For example, Prachetas are there. They took shelter of Lord Shiva, and Shiva taught them a beautiful song called Rudra Gita. And by learning this Rudra Gita from Lord Shiva, all these Prachetas worshipped Lord Vishnu, Lord Vasudeva, by chanting Rudra Gita for 10,000 years, and they got the darshan of the Lord. So we have seen so many wonderful devotees who approached Shiva and Brahma and many other devatas for spiritual guidance, to intensify their bhakti towards Krishna, towards Vishnu, towards Narayana, and they progressed in their bhakti. And because all these devatas are also created by the Lord, and they are some of them are avatars of the Lord, and they themselves are devotees of the Lord. So naturally, if you go to them seeking devotion towards Krishna, they will give. But there are people who approach these devatas for some material boons, and Krishna allows them to do so. Okay, hey, you have this Shraddha, I will steady your Shraddha. So Krishna says, uh, then, uh, then sometimes somebody may ask, why God gives facilities to living entities for enjoyment and lets them fall into the trap of illusory energy? The answer is, if the Supreme Lord as Super Soul does not give such facilities, there is no meaning for independence. So we all have some independence, and Krishna doesn't interfere with that independence. With that independence, we do good activities. We should get good results. We do bad activities, we should get bad results. But if we use that independence to perform spiritual activities, we'll get spiritual benefit. So we can do three types of karma, as we discussed in the previous chapters also. Punya karma, papa karma, bhakti karma. Punya karma means pious activities that will give you better material enjoyment. Papa karma means impious activities that will take on to hell. And bhakti karma means spiritual activities that will take us to the spiritual world. Right? So, in short, in the next couple of slokas, Krishna said that when somebody wants to worship devatas for some material boons, I make their faith steady. I will allow them to worship them. And in fact, all the boons given by the devatas are also coming from me only. Antavattu phalam tesham tadbhavatyalpamedhasam devan devayajo yanti madbhakta yanti mamapi. Antavattu phalam tesham. All the uh, results obtained by these devata worshippers, they are uh, they are very meager. They have an end. People of small intelligence, Alpamedhasam, they worship the devatas to get some meager results. But devotees worship Krishna for better results, and they will go to spiritual world. For example, there is Kali Mata, and there are some dacoits who are worshipping Kali Mata. They kidnapped Jadabharat, who was a pure Vaishnava, and tried to sacrifice him, tried to kill him in front of Kali Mata. Why? Because they want some extra powers. And the leader of these dacoits he wanted a son, and he thought that if I sacrifice Jada Bharat in front of Kali Mata, then she will give me a good son. But where is it mentioned? Then what did Kali do? She protected Jada Bharat. She came out of this deity Kali and she killed all these dacoits who were trying to kill him. So she is after all a Vaishnavi. So whether it is Kali Mata or Shiva, Shiva gave benedictions to Ravana, but when Ram decided to kill Ravana, ha, Shiva did not protect him. Similarly, Hiranyakashipu was given benedictions by Brahma, and Brahma gave benedictions to Hiranyaksha also. And later Brahma prayed to Varahadev to kill Hiranyaksha. Brahma was happy with Narasimhadev for killing Hiranyakashipu. Thus, devatas may be obliged to offer some boons to demoniac people, but the boons or the benedictions have a limit. They cannot give any permanent enjoyment. On top of it, the ability in a devata to bestow that boon is also coming from Krishna, uh, and uh, uh, and the devatas actually don't support these worshippers who approach them for material desires. They are obliged to give, but they are not happy to give. Then, now this is about devata worshippers. The last two, three shlokas we have seen about those who worship devatas. I hope you are able to get the flow of the seventh chapter. So Krishna spoke about surrendering to him till 14th shloka. Then he spoke about four types of people who don't surrender. And he spoke about four types of people who surrender. And he spoke about some people who surrender to someone else, devatas. Now he's speaking about another category of personalities who are impersonalists. At least Devata worshippers are described as Alpamedhasa. They have less intelligence. Therefore, they have material desires. And to fulfill the material desires, they go to some Devatas. But, uh, but there are some people who consider the Lord as impersonal. They are Abuddhaya. They are not less intelligent. They are unintelligent. Avyaktam vyaktimapannam manyate mam abuddhayah. Abuddhaya means those who don't have buddhi. So these people think that the Lord is avyakta, impersonal. Later vyaktimapannam, he took shelter, he took a form. There are some people who believe that ultimately God is formless, but sometimes he appears in some form. So, absolute truth is formless. Sometimes it appears as Krishna with a form, Ram with a form, or Vishnu with a form, or some other form with some form. He comes to perform some activities. Again, he will become formless. Ultimately, we are also formless. Ultimately, we are attributeless. So, what is the absolute truth? Nothing is absolute truth. Means that void is absolute truth. Some people believe like that. Some people believe that the Lord is impersonal. They are called abuddhayaha. But the Lord is a person. Param bhavam ajananto mama bhutamaheshwaram. Such people don't understand my param bhavam, my great nature. Ajananto, they don't understand. Mama avyayam anuttamam. I am imperishable. Anuttamam, there is nothing which is better than me. I am supreme. They don't understand. They are impersonalists. Means they think that God is not a person. Right? If some people are thinking that God is not a person, why can't God appear in front of them and prove that he's a person? Now, you cannot challenge the Lord. You cannot demand the Lord. Uh, why is the Lord obliged to prove about his existence to such people? He may do so in some ways, but ultimately, Krishna is not obliged to reveal himself to such non believers. Krishna says this here. He also has his independence. He says, Naham prakashah sarvasya yogamaya samavritah मूढ़ोऽयं नाभिजानाति लोको माम अजमव्ययम् नाहं prakashah sarvasya. I am not visible to everyone. Yogamaya samavritah. I am covered by my yogamaya, spiritual potency. Moodhoyam naabhijanati. These moodhas, foolish people don't understand me. Loko mam ajam avyayam. They don't understand that I am ajam, unborn, avyaya, inexhaustible. Why we can't see the Lord? Because Lord doesn't reveal himself to us. Why he doesn't reveal himself to us? Because we misunderstand him. We don't believe that he exists. Some people in this world. So Krishna is not obliged to reveal himself to such people who think that he has no form, who think that he's impersonal, who think that he doesn't exist. So of course, sometimes out of his mercy he may do so also, but he is not obliged. Krishna clearly says. Like, although whether we believe in the existence of the Lord or not, Lord exists in our hearts as super soul. That much, that much revelation the Lord gives. The Lord gives us earth, water, fire, air, ether, and this world to live in. Although the Lord is supplying so many things, still uh, many people in this world, they don't have gratitude towards the Lord. They don't believe in the existence of the Lord. They become atheistic. And Krishna reserves his right not to reveal himself to everyone. That is his glory. But still he is merciful upon them. Still Krishna is merciful. Like Krishna was in Vrindavan. So many demons came to Vrindavan and saw that Krishna is an ordinary child, small ordinary child, and they even tried to kill Krishna. But what did Krishna do to them? He killed them and he gave them liberation. For example, Putana came to kill Krishna, and Krishna gave liberation to Putana. He gave the position of a motherly nurse to Putana in the spiritual world, Golaka Vrindavan. Can you just imagine? Similarly, when Krishna was in Mathura, Dwaraka, Hastinapur, so many people like Kamsa, Jarasandha, Kalayavana, Duryodhan, Shishupal, Vidurata, Dantavakra, so many such people, they have, uh, they did not believe that Krishna is God. They even blasphemed the Lord. They even tried to fight with the Lord, arrest the Lord, or even kill the Lord. Kamsa tried to kill Krishna. Jarasandha tried to kill Krishna. Kalayavana tried to kill Krishna. Duryodhana arrested Krishna. Shishupal envied Krishna. So they all think that Krishna is ordinary human being. That does not mean Krishna becomes ordinary. So we have seen Krishna showing universal form. We will see it very soon. In short summary is, Krishna is pleased to reveal himself to a humble devotee who serves him, and not to an arrogant person who challenges his existence. Therefore, Krishna doesn't reveal himself to everyone. So then finally, Krishna talks about how to develop that devotion. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kaschana. Krishna says, Veda aham samatitani. I know everything. Vartamanani cha Arjuna means whatever is happening now, Krishna knows. Present, Krishna knows. Then Bhavishyani cha, he knows the future also. Mam tu vedana kaschana, he knows the past also. So Krishna knows whatever has happened in the past, whatever is happening now, whatever is happening in the future. Bhavishyani cha bhutani, mam tu vedana kaschana. So, but some people don't know, don't understand Krishna. Krishna knows the past, present, and future, but there are some people who don't know Krishna. Why? Because they are in moha, they are in delusion. Huh? Let's see that. इच्छाद्वेष समुत्थेन द्वन्द्वमोहेन भारत सर्वभूतानि सम्मोहं सर्गे यान्ति परन्तप. Ichha samuthena, because of ichha. Ichha means desire, material desire. Dvesha means hatred. Because of desire and hatred, these people don't understand Krishna. Dvandva mohena bharata, they are deluded. Sarva bhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. And most people in this entire planet, entire material creation, are deluded by desire and hatred, attachment and aversion, ichha and dvesha. Such people, because of their moha, they cannot see the Lord. But who can see the Lord? Who can approach Krishna? Very clear here. येषां त्वन्तगतं पापं जनानां पुण्यकर्मणां ते द्वन्द्वमोहनिर्मुक्ता भजन्ते मां दृढव्रताः. येषां तु अन्तगतं papam. He says, those whose sins are eradicated, Jnanam, Jananam, Punyakarmanam, those who are doing only pious activities, their sins are gone, they are doing only pious activities, spiritual pious activities. Te Dvandva Moha Nirmukta, such people are relieved from all the Moha, delusion, and they appear, they perform bhakti, engage in service of the Lord with determination. Bhajanti Mam Dadavrataha, with great determination they worship the Lord. And what will happen to such people? They will be relieved from all miseries of this material world, all the delusion in this material world. They will reach the Lord. And Krishna speaks a couple of more shlokas and winds up this chapter. So, in this chapter, so far we have seen in the first three shlokas, Krishna spoke uh, about the importance of hearing to understand his glory, his greatness, to acquire gnana and vijnana. In the next few shlokas, fourth shloka till 12th shloka, Krishna spoke about his material energy and spiritual energy, and how he is the source of both, and how he is all pervasive throughout the universe, right? How he is maintaining everything. Then, from 13th shloka to 19th shloka, Krishna spoke about four types of people who take his shelter and four types of people who don't take his shelter. And of the four types of people who take Krishna's shelter, Jnani is the best. And later, from 20th shloka to 25th shloka, Krishna spoke about those people who take shelter of devatas to fulfill their material desires. And also, he spoke about people who are impersonalists, who consider God to be impersonal, unintelligent people. Then finally, in the last five shlokas, Krishna says that he knows the past, present, and future, and those who are deluded by Maya, they don't understand Krishna's divinity. But one who is sinless and pious and performs bhakti with determination can reach the Lord. So delusion to devotion. So these are some highlights of the seventh chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Tomorrow we'll begin the eighth chapter. Eighth chapter is relatively smaller. Of course, we can discuss eighth chapter for a long, long time, but in this Gita Pravaha sessions, tomorrow we will focus on eighth chapter and complete it. And ninth chapter is even more deep. We will discuss it for 3 days. Thank you very much. श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद